Hi, this is Steven. Welcome to your practice. What I would like to do together with you in the next 10 minutes is to show you my top 5 of stretches or movements that you should do on a daily basis, ideally, to maintain a good level of flexibility. Here we go with number 1. You don't need any props. Maybe later we might need 2 yoga blocks, but I'll also show you another way if that's not within your reach or you just don't have this at home. The first one is really simple. Place your feet hip distance apart. For now, bend the knees a little bit and then drape your upper body over the legs. It's a simple forward fold. We want to lengthen the whole back line of the body, not just the hamstrings, which is what you might feel the most, but also all the way along the spine into the neck and even the calves. Nice. So just hang out here. You can hold your opposite elbows with the hands, or I'll show you another variation in case your lower back is a little bit problematic. I would recommend in that case to not round the spine too much, but rather keep a neutral spine as best as you can. You can still keep a bend in the knees, or you can straighten the knees. So now I'm letting all the forward fold come from the stretch in the hamstrings and nothing from the rounding of the spine, which for some people is not going to feel very good. Nice, you can hold this version with a lengthened spine. And in general, I'd recommend to do different versions of poses so that you feel the best one for you, and also you approach the pose from a slightly different angle. And then the last variation is to reach the hands down. You can either hold the backs of the legs, but don't pull really hard, or you can touch the ground if that is available to you. And then instead of thinking how low can my head go, I'm thinking, can I hollow out the front of the hips and the belly so that my upper body has more space to fold in. And you might be higher, you might be lower than me, it doesn't really matter. So don't waste any time with these comparisons. That's not gonna take you much further. Good, that's our first pose. And then find a piece of wall, sit against it with your back, bend the knees and place the soles of the feet together. Pull the feet in a little bit closer and then try to sit the hips all the way up against the wall. What this is doing is it's keeping our spine in an upright position, and it's also freeing up the hands so that we can now use the hands to gently press the inner knees or inner thighs down. And then I would recommend go really gently with this. You don't want to overdo it. We just want to stretch all the tissues on the inner thighs and into the groin. And you can imagine in a normal working day, which is seated behind a desk for most of us, we don't do a lot of these stretches, so these inner thighs have not done this movement a whole lot of times in a normal working day. And then keep lengthening the spine, the wall's going to help you. And then gently encourage the knees down. Another thing which is quite important, I almost forgot to tell you, is to squeeze the buttocks, especially the outer hips. Squeeze them a little bit to try and pull your knees down. So that pull is coming as much from the outer hips as it is from the weight of the hands. Sometimes I also like to massage the inner thighs a little bit by pushing the hands down. You can do the same with your elbows as well, or your forearms. It's good to get in there and approach the stretch from different positions. Good, so this is number 2. We've done forward fold, we've done inner thigh stretch. The third one is one of my favorites to do every day. It's to bring your knee all the way against the corner of the wall so your foot goes up. If this is sore, the top of the foot, then you can either wear socks or you can put a towel or something in between the wall and your foot. And then try to place your foot down on the ground. Now, for most of us, this is already quite strong just to be here in this position. So I'm just going to try to lengthen the spine. If this is not doing much for you, you can go a little bit further. Then you can try place one hand or both hands on this front knee and lift the upper body a little bit more upright. Nice. The knee is tucked into that little corner. the foot is up on the wall, and what this is doing is it's really providing a nice length in the front of this whole right thigh here. It's the four muscles which form the quadriceps, and also into the front of the hip. There's a group of muscles called hip flexors, which tend to get really tight if you spend long periods sitting. Also, these muscles are related to your stress reflex. So if you're having a challenging time, you're in a bit of an anxious mode, then it's going to reflect and be held in the front of the hips very often. Nice. Here, a couple more pointers. I'm trying to not arch the back too much, so try to keep the front body a little bit together. And I'm lengthening that hip point up to increase the length at the front of the right thigh. Hold for about a minute. You can slowly increase that over time, maybe work yourself up to 2 to 3 minutes. But for the purpose of this video, this is a good start. I'm going to swap to the second leg, so place my left knee all the way in the corner with the left foot up. Pad the foot if you need to. Bring the foot under. If this is too much, you can even stay here on the hands and on the right knee to have a version of the pose that is still available. Otherwise, you can bring the foot next to the hands. Either stay here on the hands, or if it seems appropriate, you can bring your hands to the front knee and lean a little bit back. I don't want to lean back just with the head by arching my back, because that doesn't do anything for the front of this left thigh here. What I'm trying to do is lift the left hip point, keep the knee tucked into that corner, and I'm bringing the belly and the whole rib cage a little bit back. Nice. Take a few breaths. Sometimes in these poses it can be quite intense. There might be a little tear forming in the corner of your eye. Shame, no, I hope not. But hold for a little bit and really find space in the front of left thigh, front of the left hip. Another breath or so. It's always good to keep the breath as soft as possible. And then slowly come out. We've done quite a bit on the lower body around the hips. So now it's time to do 2 stretches for the upper body. First, I'll show you a version with yoga blocks, and then I'll show you a version without. Let me actually show you the version without, because it's more likely that you don't have blocks. So find a surface, a table, the back of a couch, anything that is within easy reach, and place your elbows on that surface. Now tuck your ears between the biceps and walk back a little bit, and then bring the hands together in prayer pose and start to bring the thumbs a bit closer to the upper back or to your neck. You can bend the knees, just choose a leg position that allows you to press down, and you're lengthening the hips away from the elbows. Nice. With the elbows, I'm slightly pressing down to get a little bit of activation in the muscle groups that we're lengthening. And then with the hips, I'm trying to slide the hips away from where the elbows are touching down. Now, again, we're not trying to arch the back a lot, because we're going to lose a lot of the stretch in the lats. So instead, get the feeling almost that you're trying to round your back. And then hold for another breath. And then slowly release. I'm going to show you quickly with the blocks, in case you have blocks, the same pose. We don't have to do it again, but in case you're looking for a different variation, it would be almost the same. I'm walking the knees back with the elbows on the blocks, and it's exactly the same pose. Nice. Our last one is to now really get into the front of the shoulders, the front of the chest. And we're going to do this with the reverse tabletop. Place your feet on the mat a little bit in front of you. Place the hands on the mat about a hand's distance behind the hips with the fingers facing forward. And then press your hands and your feet down, lift the hips high, and try to draw the shoulder blades together onto your back. Lift the hips as high as they will go. Squeeze the glutes to get that push upwards for the front of the hips. And then you can lean the head back, or if that doesn't feel so good, you can look forward in the direction of the knees. Nice. Trying to hold these poses, maybe about a minute each. That's a good time to start with. And I would recommend don't hold it for much longer, rather come back to these poses regularly, and it's going to give you more benefits than doing it once for half an hour and then never again for the rest of your life. I'm exaggerating, but you know what I mean. Good. And then slowly release, just feel your body. We've done hamstrings, backs of the legs, lower back. We've done inner thighs. We've done the front of the quads and then the hips. We've done the lats and the upper back with the stretch. And we've done the chest, front of the shoulders. How are you feeling? Should you do more of this? Yes, then repeat this as much as you can. Or no, then of course find something else that does work for you. I want to thank you a lot for showing up, for doing your daily stretches, for keeping your body and your mind in a flexible position. And stay well. I'll see you here again soon.